2024 was pretty wild, I'm gonna be honest. All the notable events of the year just came out of the blue. Like black magic at a garage sale, out of the blue. Like, let's look at what happened. We had Jewish tunnels in the NYC. Mama Max turning out to just be schizophrenic. The Drake and Kendrick beef. Dr. Disrespect being on the EDP grind set. Too Mad fucking died. Alex Kister drama. Alex Kister. Mega Mind 2. Post Nux Clarity. The Daddy Freak Off list. Sick of it. Mr. Beast of all people getting cancelled. Machine Girl released an album. Machine Girl released an album. Like, where was the indication that any of this was gonna happen? I'm not asking for a magic ball or anything, but holy shit, what the But all of that isn't important now. What is important are the games I played this year. Quick disclaimer though, the games on this list were found during the year, not made. So there will be differences in ages of what the fuck. Another disclaimer is that this list is highly subjective and the games have been ranked based on my personal experience with them, not their overall quality. So I could easily put a hentai flash game over Elden Ring because the main chick reminded me of the girl who used to bully me in high school. One genre of video games that I'll always respect is bullet hells. Entire games based solely off the premise of overwhelming you with almost every single line of code at once. Just the visual spectacle of that alone is enough to impress me. But since they are games, you expected to actually play through all of that. Being a tiny blip on a map, sprawling with things that want you dead, and having to constantly bob and weave your way between everything will never fail to get my blood pumping. Having nothing but constant focus and quick reflexes being demanded from you always creates this sense of going up against insurmountable odds, but as an unstoppable force, just through sheer perseverance and learning. And put more encouraging words up on the screen, editing TREMIRRY. Another genre that is the complete antithesis to that is bullet heavens. Can you see it? It's right in the name. Unlike bullet hells, these types of games aim to give you the experience of controlling the being that completely overwhelms everything else. Usually starting you out with basic artillery, but constantly supplying you with more devastating abilities until you become basically unkillable. Think of those level 1 gangster to level 99 mafia boss ads. It is exactly like that. That's why these two genres are named the way they are. They're essentially opposite sides of the same coin. One side having you control one single unit against massive death units, and the other side making you the death unit as you destroy thousands of single ones. And the reason I like Picayune Dreams so much is because it combines both genres into this basically unforgettable experience. I'm not even kidding. I have never played anything like Picayune Dreams before Picayune Dreams. The game was developed by 3 people. Stepford, a programmer that's got a pretty respectable collection of games under their belt. Milky Possum, the musician behind all the neuron-tearing music in the game. And Dylan, Yeah, I got you. You thought I was gonna say and, didn't you? Yeah, keep up. And Andyland, the artist responsible for the psychedelic visuals, and the reason I even found the game in the first place, thanks to his YouTube channel. Going through the developers like that also made me realize that they've done this before. This isn't the first time these three have made a game together. The game they made before Picayune Dreams was a much smaller game called Olive's Art Adventure. A pretty short and sweet game that had a fun motherfucker.
We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
A pretty short and sweet game that had fun drawing mechanics, but I'm not going on a tangent. The point I'm trying to make with this is that these three went from Olive's Art Adventure to Picayune Dreams. Picayune Dreams, Picayune Dreams. How the fuck do you say that? Should I look that up? Let me look that up. How do I say it? Picayune? Let's go! If they collaborate on another project, we are all just going to die from peak because the level of quality improvement is insane. In its entirety, Picayune Dreams is a blend of both the Bullet Hell and Heaven games, with the addition of a roguelike gameplay design, along with RPG Maker-like story sequences. Now that already alone as a bundle, if that doesn't pique your interest, there's something wrong with you. It combines two game genres that are the complete opposites of each other. And it works. Why does it work? How Picayune Dreams operates is by starting you out in the vast nothingness of space with absolutely nothing to your name and having you pick one of four directions, each of varying difficulties. Based on your choice, you'll encounter masses upon masses of these weird looking inner-like monstrosities, with all of them having unique mechanics, which sounds pretty overwhelming. And it is, but as you kill them you'll gain points, which can be used to upgrade your body and give you anything from a laser eye to the babies of that carrion monster from that carrion game. I don't know what it is about this game. Tangent incoming. What is that game? I've seen like 2 gameplay clips and it's wedged in my mind. What is going on? What? There are a bunch of body modifications, by the way, so turning yourself into a murder machine is actually pretty easy. Muscles, saw blades, a ninja headband that shoots out ninja thing. I think those are shurikens? Kunais? Help me? You could come up with a bunch of different loadouts or builds in the game, but I mostly found myself using whatever did the most damage as opposed to experimenting, because you don't have to learn the enemy mechanics if there is no enemy. TREMIRRY 2024. But this is one reason why the game stood out so much to me. All this visual chaos. I don't really know how to describe it, but yo, this phone scared the fuck out of me. God motherfucking damn. I don't really know how to describe it, but Picayune Dreams layout can get so busy and cluttered in the most visually satisfying way possible. All the colors and patterns make me feel like I'm shooting through some kind of indie breakcore album cover. No, it's not a niche comparison. This game actually looks like that. It looks like SoundCloud 200 plays and then the title is like, what? Used cut. Once you've cleared out an area, you treat it to a boss fight, accompanied with a quirky little space phone call each time. The boss fights are my favorite parts of the game, thanks to the unique ways they try to murder you. I mean, the first boss is kinda cute, you know, midget shoots out little orbs. The second boss is like one of the fucking like worm thingies where each segment is trying to kill you. Third boss is on a bike. I also really like the bosses because of the theme songs that accompany them. To be honest, every single song in the OST could count as stellar. Every area has 2 variants of a chaotic track attached to them. Story segments have unique tracks that build a really tense atmosphere, and boss fights always come with the genuinely spectacular sounding songs that take the chaotic feel of the horde stages and pump it up to 11. The final boss especially, that song is no joke one of my favorite songs in literally anything. It is that good. Fun fact about that song, by the way, on Milky Possum's YouTube channel, there's a song titled Sentience, and this song basically sounds like the blueprint for the final boss theme, Interstellar. The vocals, the beat, this song just sounds so similar, and then going over to Interstellar after listening to it is actually just really inspiring because the overhaul this song got is incredible. PK on Dream! I'm not even kidding, no exaggeration, Milky Possum, you made one of the best retakes on a song I have ever heard in general in my life. It's not even confined to games. In general, Interstellar is one of the best songs I've ever heard. You are actually crazy for this. It's not just all the bullet hell stuff that makes the game great either. The story sections of the game are super well put together too. Again, thanks to the soundtrack and dialogue just putting you on the edge all the time, and the visuals will keep you on that edge. I don't want to go into too much detail on the story though because it'd spoil it and some of the visual surprises. So that's where I'll end this off. But before I end this off, I've just got to say that the sets for the story are really well made. They were made in like kind of this ykyk like art style. The background and stuff look really unique. The horror actually looks scary even though the characters look like that. Usually people be like, I don't need a story in my Vampire Survivors like game. Yes, you didn't need it, but PK Dreams did it anyway, and it is really good. Oh my god. If you're looking for a game to scratch a weird itch you have for like 6 different opposing genres at once, then give PK Dreams a try. Okay, update, editing Tremery update. I know the mic is shit, I'm sorry, but like I was getting footage for PK Dreams because I wanted to show Milky Possum's YouTube channel, and there is a free update for PK Dreams where I think the bosses are on crack now, so the music has also been put on even more crack than it initially was. This isn't the first time this has happened during a video, but like I'm hyped, I'm happy. More PK Dreams to play. Goddamn.
You'll be okay.
Have you ever wanted to go on a journey? With the company of your close and trusted allies, you all would venture out into uncharted lands and foreign territory to save your kingdom. The challenges you'd face would be dire, but by working together and never giving up, you would... I also really like the... I'm sure you're familiar with MMOs. You're probably not. If you're watching my channel, you are not. You are a shouted individual. I don't know why I felt the need to fight you there. Games that can be played by a bunch of people at the same time. If I made some comparisons, they would look like this. The main appeal of an MMO, in my opinion, would be the raids. You and a bunch of other people, each with their own unique classes and builds, working together to take down whatever obstacle is in your way. Be it hordes of computer-controlled enemies, a super boss, or even other real-life players. Raiding with friends will always be super fun due to the challenges these obstacles impose on your party, which also leads pretty nicely into formulating strategies with each other and clear communication in battle, which can feel really satisfying if it all goes well, and it can also feel really frustrating when nobody listens. However, as awesome as raiding with friends is, there is one huge factor that stops like 90% of people from even being eligible to raid: the grind. Building your character, killing mobs, quests, XP, and this is usually spread out over a bunch of weeks, if not months, just to give you a chance of not literally exploding when you get in. But a lot of people don't really want to grind. Sure, the boss fights look really exciting, but the idea of grinding in games like that just isn't for everyone. If only there was a way to streamline the grind and get right to the raids without impacting the experience all too much. Okay, now stop. Stop it. Stop pulling your face like that. Stop looking at the title like that. It's a good game. It is a good game. I swear, every single friend I've asked to play this with me asked if I'm a furry. The main reason I opened up with the MMO explanation is because of the game's art style. It looks all cutesy and basic, but trust me when I say this, the game is complex. It has depth. It is good. It's thought out. But so many people will never reach all the good stuff because they're immediately put off by the bunny girls. What's wrong with bunny? Shout out Urban Spook. I am not beating the autistic furry allegation. Now, I'm not too well versed in the story. The most I could gather is some weird tower appears every night and its existence is linked to a spell that causes the other animals to attack on sight. Yes, there aren't only bunnies in the game. There's like kingdoms. Each kingdom houses a different type of animal and you can see them interact and stuff. They're all really cute. I'm not helping my case, am I? So you need to form a team of up to 4 people and try to reach the summit of the tower before the night is over. Your team can be selected from a pool of 10 classes, each one being vastly different from the last. I'll put you on game right now. Defender Rabbit. She's got defense and stuff in her kit, like removing bullets and staying invulnerable for a long time. But God knows why the fuck she contests for DPS. She hospitalizes people. What is she defend? I've gone through so many runs with her. At this point, I might start praying to this thing. Spell Sword Rabbit. You just infect the enemy with monkeypox and now all your attacks will hit twice. Even the spell that applies the monkeypox hits for monkeypox, pox, monkey. She just does so much damage and I really like the hair drill thingies. Before it kind of did the... Apart from those two, I am not playing the game. Now that was what I wrote before I started grinding hard mode a lot, and as much as I like those 2 characters, they were not doing me any favors. So I decided to just play hard online once. That sentence, yes, that sentence. I joined the team online and needless to say, I got gaped. Repeatedly. There was a heavy blade rabbit that was gaping with me, but I was gaping a lot more than her, so I looked worse. Take a shot for every time I said gape. I thought the mechanics would be more manageable online since it wouldn't all be on my shoulders. I also thought Silksong was coming out last year. Throughout the entire run, the person who did the most damage was the Assassin Rabbit. We had a Spell Sword, Heavy Blade and Druid Rabbit in our team. Okay, scratch Spell Sword, she actually needs to be alive to do damage, bro, oh my god. But an Assassin doing more than those two didn't make sense. I was under the impression that the Assassin's base kit damage sucks. Her loot was pretty mid too, so then how was she doing that much damage? Clearly I was missing something. So once they carried me to the end, yes, I got the achievement because of them first. I got the achievement because I got carried. I went into a solo game and picked the Assassin. And you literally just... You actually can't just... Watch the clip. Watch this clip. Right, okay, so I'm, welcome back. Oh, guys, not even welcome back, because, like, I'm probably talking over this. This is, like, me in the video, whatever. Okay, so, okay, pay attention, class. This is important, class. I don't know why I'm acting so autistic. Your primary and secondary have a 5% chance to deal 100 damage 5 times. That's 500 damage. 5% for 500 damage, not that bad. It just happened. These two are like very chance based, nah? And I made it so that I become slightly luckier at all times. So that just basically means that these chances are higher than they appear to be. I got another thing is like, oh, when a percentage chance succeeds, you gain a buff. 1% chance. 2% chances, 3% chances. Where the fuck is it? 4. And then after that, every time you gain a buff, gain another random buff. So now it's like you get buffed with this, and then this one gives you another buff, and you have so many percentage chances. So if I get 3 buffs from this one will make it 6 buffs, my guy. Okay, let's go. I want to show you guys. Look, watch. And this is the boss of the game, Moonlight Pinnacle, Moonlight Peak. Y'all are gonna witness Peak. This is like if I was fucking Gojo, and the person across me said, like, the girl with the blue hair, they can't do shit. Like, she got a buff, then she wanted to cut Kenjaku, and he was just like, shut your dog. Look at this. Hold square. 1 buff, 2 buffs. Look at that. Look at that. This is a story. I'm making a story. And if I stand still, it has a... Look at this. Look. Huh? I don't know what I'm doing. There's a nice thing about Assassin also. You don't even play the game. Because like I'm stomping this boss. HP was the... What the shit was that? Bye. Wait. This is a brick. I'm bricked. Hello? Look at all these buffs. I have so many. Yes! Oh! Hey, I can black wash myself. Look. What the fuck? Damn it, this is the first time I've beat hard mode solo, by the way. Just so I've never beaten, like, the whole time I was hard stuck on hard mode. This is the first hard mode run I've done with the Assassin Rabbit, and I win. First try. So, like, I'm just putting it out there right now. I wanted to do a section in the video where I was like, okay, these are the best rabbits. No, it's a lie. That is just a lie. Let me see the new skin. Shit, I like the color. It looks nice. What the fuck? Yes, let's post this on Twitter. You're gonna get cooked. No. You post it on Twitter, they're gonna be like, fixed. Lol, fixed. Let me not get into that. I'm gonna get cancelled. Anyway, back to your regularly recorded schedule. What the fuck am I? Okay, I kind of got sidetracked there. Where was I? Oh, okay, right, the tower. To get to the tower, you need to go through 4 locations. Each location housing a shop, swaggy loot, and many enemies. The loot you find can be used to make you stronger. But what I really like about the loot is all the juicy synergies. By the way, if you're playing with friends and multiple people choose the same piece of loot, there's this really funny system where you all do a luck roll, and whoever scores the highest takes the piece. Picture this. You snag a loot item that does damage to the enemy. You know, decent DPS, nothing crazy. But then you get your hands on another item that makes any hits from loot hit for like bajillion damage. I hit for 3 cutesy 25 damage. Nah, now you hit for 3 250 back shots. Or you could just think of the clip. Since you can hold up to 5 items per run, the amount of loot combos you can create is actually kinda crazy. Rabbit and Steel is a roguelike though, so you'll always be cycling through different pieces of loot each game and finding new combos to melt bosses with throughout each run, okay? Throughout each run, Crash says. And let's talk about them, the bosses. Okay, well, basically all the enemies in the game, but the bosses mainly. The things these girls will do to you. There are 4 difficulties, right? Okay, well, actually 3 because I have never heard or seen anyone play on Q. Normal is pretty okay, there's nothing too crazy. But the enemies can still juke you every now and then if you aren't careful. Hard mode, yes. Going from normal to hard is demeaning, it's disrespectful. It took me like a few hours to score a win on normal. I have not seen the tower on hard. Fun fact, I also got my first clear on normal because a random carried me. No, it's not a theme. Please don't make any passenger princess jokes. Rabbit and Steel, I'll kill you. I did beat myself eventually as well, but my first one was because of a random. That random was also the defender rabbit. So I think that's where my problem started. What hard mode does is basically add additional mechanics to the already existing ones in normal. Meaning you'll have to take more things into account and there is less room for error. One actually amazing detail about the bosses and difficulty is the fact that their patterns and move change depending on how many people are playing. One player means bosses will use more bullet hell style attacks. Two players have them use team oriented attacks like spread or match the colors. Three or more, yeah, just pray at that point. Rabbit and Steel is difficult, but it never feels unfair. I always know what I did wrong when I die. And restarting to try again is really fast since the starting area has 2 loot drops, which speeds up the build process a lot and really feeds into that whole mentality of just one more run. I just need one more run. The next run is gonna be the run. I'm not addicted. I'm not addicted. Stop telling me whenever you see the pop-up of me playing Rabbit and Steel appears, and from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. But I am not talking about Luna. I'm not putting myself through that torment. I can't even keep a conversation with her. What am I gonna do when Luna walks in? The last thing I wanna mention, I'm sure you can already guess what it is, but the music, oh, and not just any music, Steel Plus music. Look at the discography. You already know my playlist has been colonized. Mandem can produce the music. Oh my god. If you've seen my last video like this, you probably know how bad I am at describing why I like music. So I'm sorry in advance. Steel Plus, please, I promise I'm worth it. If I had to liken the soundtrack to anything, I'd probably go with Final Fantasy. A lot of the tracks evoke that same sense of wonder and intrigue that you'd feel in a Final Fantasy game. Not any specific one really, but more so all of them. It sounds very fantasy-esque, I guess. It reminds me a lot of RPG soundtracks. Listening to the music of a new area you got to for the first time, you know, that kind of thing. There are also points where the soundtrack sounds kinda similar to One Step, you know, but not that much, not a lot. It's just like small tiny things. You hear like a little flourish and we're like, the songs are also dynamic, which is very based. I love seeing that, hearing that. Fuck. Everybody and their mother that talks about the game will always mention the Emerald Lakeside theme, which is the only song in the soundtrack with vocals. Out of combat, she's, you know, singing a little tune, but inside combat, the lady just starts popping off. Actual words are being said. I really like this song because the contrast between this upbeat and cheery BGM against the PTSD inducing gameplay that's happening will never stop being absolute gold to me.
That's bullshit.
Even number core, lmao, number 4, left 4, dead 2. Did you see that? That's hilarious, man. Come on, bro. Oh my god. Now, I could say this for almost every game on this list, but I really mean it on this one. I did not expect this to even like make it in here at all. I mean, it was released in 2009. How did this game even end up on my hard drive? Let me set the scene. It was the early hours of the night, and I was on a call with 2 friends I usually game with. We were about to play Stranova together, but the 2 of us ended up waiting for the other friend who was still playing some weird zombie game. You know, we didn't really think too much of it at first, apart from bro literally wasting our time. Listening to him finish his game was what piqued our interest to check it out. With the way he was yelling and laughing, he really did sound like he was having a lot of fun.
Smoker. There's a smoker.
They're doing what to you?
Rochelle, don't worry. I got you, Rochelle. I love you, Rochelle.
What the fuck is my guy playing?
I don't know, eh?
So we checked the Steam page out and wowie, you can play the entire game for free for a limited time. On top of that, the game was 80% off. Looking back, this was probably some kind of divine intervention because too many things were coinciding here. We get the game. Holy shit, my hard drive, bro. Oh my god. Going in, I was expecting maybe like 2 days worth of fun from this, give or take. We'd enjoy ourselves and then probably delete the game after the free event. Needless to say, I was wrong. The guns, the frame rate, the team play. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Relax. Left 4 Dead 2 is a FPS zombie shooter. Similar to COD Zombies in a few ways, but instead of staying in one area and holding out, Left 4 Dead 2 has you and 3 other people trek from point A to point B. A party of 4 is mandatory too, but even if you don't have 3 other players, there are still bots to support you. Discord, what the fuck? Discord, what the fuck? The reason you have to play with 4 people is because of the zombies you go through. Usually FPS games allow you to deal with almost every obstacle in your way by yourself. So while playing with other people is fun, there's never really too much incentive outside of that. Left 4 Dead 2 heavily encourages teamwork though, because of the zombies. Mainly the special infected. The special infected. Ah! Some of these guys can literally only be dealt with by 2 or more people. Take the hunter for example. Ah, that's a smoker. Fuck, that's a smoke. Smoker's like, ah, yeah. That's the funniest fucking sound I've heard in a while. What the fuck? You play versus, you spawn it as a smoker once. Ah! He's got that other one when he just fucking called. Okay, lock it. Nothing's funny about the smoker. Nothing's funny. Take the hunter for example. He pounces on you from a distance and tears you to shreds, with the only way of getting him to stop being a teammate pushing him off or killing him. Similarly, the charger will book it towards you once he sees you, and again pin you down until he kills you or someone else frees you. The charger is that one fucking sounding. These guys can be shot in advance though, preventing a pin entirely, but they still heavily reward playing with your team, just in case, you know. Plus, sometimes these zombies can just casually use black magic to get to you, so stick together, stick with your team, don't even try and lone wolf it. There are also tanks, spitters, witches, smokers, and jockeys, each of them hindering your team's progress in their own ways. Even the basic zombies have hordes going on for them. So being placed in a map with 3 other people and having to work as a team to get through everything I just mentioned gives way to the most chaotic and fun experience I've ever had. There's always so many variables at play during a game that your mind is literally just in overdrive, trying to strategize and plan routes on the fly based on whatever special infected just showed up. Or if there's a horde on the way, or maybe a teammate is down but there's a tank on the way. You know, things like that. The insanity of the experience is only further enhanced by the stellar voice work. Every survivor in the game has a metric shit ton of voice lines. They've got banter with each other during levels and inside safe rooms, but this banter can change based on who's alive or dead and just randomize itself to have a different person start the conversation and steer it somewhere else entirely, leading to 2 separate conversations in the same area, or basically all you have to do is restart and you get another conversation. The survivors call out the special infected when they see them. They comment on what's happening around them. There are actually so many voice lines in the game that people who have been playing for literal years are still hearing specific lines for the first time. Let that sink in. Comprehend that. Philistine, ape, monkey. On top of all that, the survivors have such likable personalities too. I do not have a single gripe with any of these guys. I don't think I could find something to complain about even if I tried. I just like them all so much. They play off each other really well and they feel like real people. Probably thanks to them having so many variations of lines that they'll seldom be repeating the same ones, which stops them from feeling like NPCs. There's also a bunch of guns to choose from, and they all feel really distinct thanks to each one having unique damage values, recoil, sound effects, all that gun nut stuff. gun nut? What did you mean? What did you... Melee weapons too. There are a good amount of them in the game and they feel really satisfying to use thanks to those violent animations. These also mesh downright perfectly with the sound design. Boy, the sound design. You can hear how melee weapons sing in the air before making impact with something, and just listening to the impact with all that flesh tearing and the damage you're doing to that zombie. Same with the guns. They sound loud and they feel really powerful, coupled with the gun like recoiling and kicking back. Again, thanks to the sound design of the bullets penetrating the zombies. You can hear like the flesh. While I'm on the topic, the overall presentation of gore in Left 4 Dead 2, peak. Absolute cinema. There was so much attention put into the little details, like where you shot the zombie, with what did you shoot, how far were you, what angle did you shoot from, was the shot enough to kill them. The developer commentary in the game explains the whole gore process a lot more in depth than I just did, but I really love how all the finer details in the game accumulate into this rich and satisfying experience. You don't even notice half of the things that they put most of the work into. Developer commentary, go to that, you'll appreciate the game so much more. They went into detail of like this, why the zombies don't feel the same, they don't look the same, and that's because they have like all these randomized clothing and things. Valve is goated. I understand the hype around like Valve needing to make Half-Life 3 now. I haven't played a Half-Life, but if this is what they're doing for Left 4 Dead, I understand it now. Reading all of this is just reminding me of how I used to love playing those gory whack games. I don't know if you guys remember. They were like these whack your boss, whack the robber. I forgot what else there was, but I used to love seeing all this shit happen on my screen. They're like really old. Maybe I do need therapy. And lastly, the ear jams. The music in this game, perfection. The main theme, credits theme especially. I wouldn't really call most of the music in this full-on songs, but that doesn't mean they aren't good. Most of the time you'll be hearing the main theme, but it'll be remixed to fit whichever level you're in. Sometimes they'll have banjos, they'll have like the background stuff, whatever. Again, I can't really describe what, but I can understand that what I'm hearing had attention put into it, and I can notice it and I appreciate it a lot. God damn, I should take a music class one day so I can explain music. That'd actually be really cool, unironically. Sometimes ambient kind of tracks will play during missions too. They really help build suspense when things go quiet. A really neat detail I like is how every special infected has their own little stinger for when they spawn. Even hordes. The tank has a full song just boom when he shows up. I don't like it. I don't like the tank and I don't like the song. Get this off my screen and out of my ears.
Hey, look at this.
What is this? What am I looking at?
It's a mod, retard.
Well, I don't know how to mod the game. Isn't that kind of hard to do?
Nah, you just click subscribe and the mod is in.
Okay. Alice now is not the L. Okay. The base game itself is already pretty high up there in terms of quality. But once you factor in the mods and the community, it's up there. It's so up there. Valve is dominating with this. Firstly, the mods. In the Steam Workshop, there are hundreds on thousands of different voice changes, model swaps, animation touch-ups. These are perfect for voice crack. These are perfect for customizing the game to your liking. And on top of that, there are fan-made campaigns and gameplay modifiers. One mod makes it so that the survivors talk more. They already talk like their tonsils go to the gym. You get so much replayability from the workshop for free. These are all free and most of them are so easy to get to. You just click subscribe. Done. That's it. You're done. Just launch the game and it's there. Secondly, not really gameplay related, but the community of this game is really active. I've already said this game is really old, but there are still videos being made on it to this day, and the videos are getting good views too, along with the actual content in the videos being really well made. I'm not gonna try and cover Left 4 Dead, don't worry, I've learned my lesson. I'm not gonna do that. I could honestly go on about this game for hours. I haven't even covered the difficulties and all the additional modes, but this section is getting pretty long. So Left 4 Dead 2 is an amazing zombie game, even better with friends, and who knows, maybe I'll make a full video on it someday. I wouldn't even be opposed to if I get a comment like, wow, this video was really amazing, If your full Left 4 Dead video is like this video, then I will really enjoy it and I will subscribe and I will have all your babies. Thank you, random commenter number 55. This one came completely out of left field. Take a shot for every time I introduce a game by basically saying, I didn't expect this one. Don't actually do that. I'm pretty sure you'll get alcohol poisoning. Alright, so this game actually found me, if I'm being honest. You see, it was just any other old night. I was browsing a totally legitimate website for purchasing games. Well, the intention was to browse, but I was stopped dead in my tracks when a game on the homepage caught my eye. The homepage is usually full of games I can't run or don't want to run, so I was surprised when I saw something interesting. The front cover of the game was pretty visually interesting with the vibrant colors, and the posing of the character reminded me of Doom, with both of them standing on top of a bunch of monsters. The name of the game was intriguing too, since I had no idea what a Fida Putti was. So I checked it out. Based off the screenshots, I was expecting a cute little indie shooter with like 7 levels, nothing too crazy. And I want to emphasize this. Look at me. I went in with low expectations. I expected basically nothing. At most a cute little itch.io type indie game. That was it. Now may I direct your attention to that number right there. Fida Putti Samurai wasn't just better than I expected. It was straight up dogging my expectations for it at nearly every turn. I'd expect a box of chocolates and the game would throw an entire supermarket at me. The 7 levels joke I made earlier is really ironic too, because the game is full to the brim with content. Yes, I worded it like that on purpose. There's tons of Easter eggs, mini games, the story and general premise of the game. There is so much I want to say about it that I can't fit it all in just this section alone. That one wasn't on purpose, I'm sorry. That one wasn't on purpose. I'm not going to talk about Fida Putti Samurai here. Instead, I want to give the game its own dedicated video. I'm talking full-on retrospective, the best game you've never played type of thing. I've always wanted to try and make a retrospective, and I feel like this is the perfect game to try it out with, so yeah. Hopefully you'll enjoy that as much as you're enjoying this, because you're pretty far in by now. I also hope you're a very patient person, because we all know me. Talk about tonal whiplash. What? Oh my god, bro. Hell nah, man. What the fuck? I'll get this out of the way now. Yes, I did only end up playing Darkwood because of Pyrocynical. The video he made on it was really long, had so much work put into it, and while I was watching the video, I really did feel like the game was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that shouldn't be spoiled. So I paused the video, went over to my nearest totally legitimate website for purchasing games. Pyrocynical better be true, actual, factual right there. In all honesty, I'm not really sure how to describe Darkwood. I mean, I know how to objectively describe it. This really depressing indie survival horror game that prides itself on being scary while having no jump scares and contains a really compelling narrative shrouded in mystery. But these reviews, hell, this entire list is subjective. It's my experiences and views on the games. I'd be hard pressed to even call these reviews. And when it comes to Darkwood, I just can't really explain that feeling it gave me while I played it. Usually looking back on a game, you'd have a clear picture of how it made you feel at certain points, or just an overall feeling during the entire playthrough. The ending of Omori was heartbreaking. Completing one step from Eden is chaotic and exciting. I immediately have emotions come to mind when I think of these games, but I'll think of Darkwood and I just draw blanks. Not in the sense of nothing coming to mind when the game is mentioned, but blanks in a way where I'll just instantly think of so many details at once. The ambience, character designs, music, atmosphere, dialogue, it'll just keep piling on until I reach a point where I literally cannot convey nor recall any one specific feeling or opinion. I have so much I want to talk about and point out, but unlike Firapuri Samurai, I just don't know where to start. I don't even know if I'm even capable of adequately describing certain points of the game, let alone authentically presenting my feelings on it without resorting to this thing is cool and this thing is scary. So I'll try and keep it simple and start with the atmosphere of the game. The sounds of your environment and the ambience of the forest are really immersive. This is especially impressive since the game has a top-down perspective, which is the furthest thing from immersion in theory. But Darkwood actually manages to pull it off really well. The game takes place entirely in a forest, by the way, save for a few exceptions. And call me schizophrenic for this, but looking back on the game, I feel like I was actually there. In the forest. Sure, go ahead, leave your local YouTuber goes insane in the comments, but I genuinely mean it. This environment is suffocating and overwhelming in such an inclusive way that it leaves a lasting impression on you. You can leave the forest, but the forest will never really leave you. That cryptic line is the perfect segue into talking about the story. Or at least what little of the story I can talk about, since, no surprise here, the game story is incredible. And even more incredibly spoiler heavy. You literally start the game with a silent protagonist with amnesia. So the very first piece of information you learn could count as a spoiler, since you learning it in-game versus me just telling you drastically changes the effectiveness of the reveal. My guy, me telling you who you play as just now was a spoiler. I wish I was joking. The most I can give you is a brief overview of the setting, not even the plot, because that is just full-on tier 0 spoiler territory. You wake up on the ground. Upon standing up and looking around, you see that you're in a hideout of some sort. It's abandoned, practically falling apart, but it's got something really strange inside it. An oven. Not just any oven, but a bizarre looking contraption of an oven that's said to keep danger away at nights thanks to its special substance. The fact that you woke up in here implies that this hideout was prepared for you in some way. You don't even recognize the clothes on your back, come to think of it. Walking outside, you're greeted with trees and shrubbery that seem to stretch on for miles with no clearance in sight. Even looking up, you can't even see the sky. This forest is so dense that it's practically blocking off the outside world. With all this in mind, one thing remains clear. You need to leave. You need to leave. Pretty strong premise, if I do say so myself.
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck.
It's interesting and leaves you wanting to learn more about the game. And also establishes that Darkwood is a horror game. Dark, scary woods, oven that keeps away monsters. I don't know what other genre you could tackle with that. Darkwood is pretty different compared to your standard horror game though, mainly thanks to its I have no jump scares label, with jump scares having become an expectation of horror games in recent years. So without access to the old reliable, loud sound gives big scare, Darkwood opted for a different type of horror. The horror of sitting at 5% HP while a chomper is chasing you through a mushroom field. Seriously though, I feel like Darkwood manages to achieve its horror in a more laid-back kind of way. Yes, there are still the deadly monsters, disturbing imagery, and occasional loud sounds, but Darkwood's most horrific traits lie in its details. It's the stuff in the background. The lack of proper sunlight, the grotesque sounds of the environment as you move through it, the complete absence of any voices at all, and the isolation you feel compared to the other people who live in this forest. People who have most likely gone mad or worse. You take note of these things and they just constantly pile up in the back of your head. And as you play, you'll subconsciously start theorizing about how this forest even works. Who can you really even trust in here? Are the things you killed even dead? Can specific trees move? Are you sure nothing followed you home? The longer you play, the more you put yourself on edge, as if you're anticipating a jump scare that's never gonna come. So you're just left in a perpetual state of dread until something does actually happen, and that's when the alarms just start buzzing in your head. Darkwood actually has the potential to trigger your flight or fight response with how well it sets its horror up, because when you're put in any tough situation, you are clenching those cheeks. This horror is pushed even further in the game's difficulty. The intended difficulty is hard, where you have a set number of lives, and losing all those lives results in the complete deletion of your entire save file. And it's pretty easy to die, what with you being all shaky. So just imagine being 20 hours in, 1 life left, and something is chasing you down. You will be pissing and shitting yourself. There is no way. Each death is permanent too. It's almost impossible to Alt F4 before the game autosaves because it just happens so quickly and constantly. When you die, that file dies right along with you. And that feeling when you mess up and see an empty save file selection screen after almost hours of playing. Oh my god. I actually have a personal hatred for how basically everything kills you, because during my playthrough, I was getting near the end. And Darkwood is a long game, so getting near the end is a lot. No spoilers, but there's 2 endings in the game. I was about to get the harder to achieve one on my first go, blind. And there's this entire sequence of events that you have to get right all in one go that I got again on my first try. And after everything, after almost dying so many times, after completing that sequence where if you got one thing wrong, the whole thing would just not work, I reached the final passage. This passage is literally the end of Darkwood. Once you hear, you finish the game. The only thing blocking the passage is this mouth, and it calls to you. Now once you enter this room, there is this floor demon thing that's chasing you, so you're most probably on edge and in a hurry. So you're not really paying attention that much to whatever's in the room, you just know that you need to move forward. So when this thing opened its mouth, please tell me why I thought it was supposed to clamp down on me, which fucking stops the route, blocks off the ending that is right there, and forces you to go all the way to the other fucking ending. I was genuinely tilted when this happened. Tremiryyyy, it's a giant mouth. What did you think was gonna... I don't know, man. It's Darkwood. Darkwood is weird. I thought it was symbolic. And I wasn't the only person who died here either. Bless this man's soul for this file. He saved me an entire additional playthrough. Seriously, but like, nah, seriously, why can't this kill you there? Darkwood is, through and through, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The moment I hit credits, I just sat there. It was calming, it was terrifying, it was depressing. I just can't ask you enough to try this game out. I'm aware it's not much of a looker, but you're robbing yourself of an experience if you dismiss the game solely off of that. And after singing praises like that about a game, what in the world could possibly top it?
Is this what cam girls feel like? Come on! What? But
We have a runner! Freeze!
All I deserve is a deep plunge. You did this, Nicole!
Oh god. You wanna buy some crack?
12!
Why would you care about the quality of my ass pics?
No, it's, I gotta go.
She's McDonald's. Emily, where'd you get McDonald's? McDonald's?
I want to fucking kill my wife!
Oh my god, what?
You picked a hard one on purpose.
It's a Dr. Seuss book, you fucking dipshit.
Promise to kiss me after. No. No! What the fuck?
Do something, bitch!
I thought we were lab partners.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, Miss Lynn. Back that divine ass up.
Enough.
The art school girls are absolutely terrified of black people.
Show me the guy in his 30s you're banging this weekend.
Yo.
Like, there's an app for this, there's an app for that.
Is there an app that'll make you fuck off and kill yourself?
You brought me here to cook crack?
Yeah, what else is baking soda for?
I don't know. Baking? What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm using my PSP to look at porn on the school's Wi-Fi.
Literally everyone at school seen your micro penis.
What? No way. How? Because you took a picture of it, you fucking idiot.
Did you just look at their anime books? They're not anime books. They're called manga.
Oh boy, where do I start with this one? I was scrolling through YouTube a couple months back and I got recommended this video. Class of 09, the re-up cop scene? What the fuck is that? Whoa! What the fuck? I saw this and I just had so many questions. Let's ignore how I found a cop shooting a high schooler 5 times funny, but the main thing that got me curious was the voice acting because it was really good.
Look me in the eye and say that. What are you, my dog?
Especially since the game looked like a visual novel. Usually in those only certain scenes are voiced, but a fully voiced visual novel? In this economy? And there were so many more videos like this. Some even just showcasing the entire game. So needless to say, my interest was piqued. PKUNG! There are 3 games in total. Class of 09, Class of 09 the re-up, and Class of 09 the flip side. The last one came out this year too, so this entry is relevant to the year. Shout out. The games aren't anything special mechanics wise, see visual novels. All you do is advance text and select choices when prompted, nothing else. That's probably why the walkthroughs do so well. You don't lose much of the experience if you just watch it like that. I have to say though, one major plus I can give all the Class of 09 games is the fact that the dialogue automatically advances forward in time with the voiceovers. Having talented voice actors is one thing, but implementing an actually good auto mode in the visual novel that advances with the lines instead of just weirdly leaving dead space in between everything is very much appreciated. The jokes land much better and the conversations feel a lot more fluid thanks to this. And oh wow, do they have conversations in this trilogy. Trilogy. The first game kicks off with some expository dialogue, nothing too crazy. It's just a girl lamenting on how hard it is to stay friends with people given how often her family moves. Which means new school, new faces, you get the picture. Only for the entire thing to come to a screeching halt as she finds the corpse of her dad who just killed himself and points out how his suicide note was stuck to the fridge with some dumbass magnet. And it blames some Nicole woman for his brains being all over the living room. Now you will never guess who Nicole is. What better way to introduce your main character than to state how they are the reason for their father's suicide in some way, right after establishing her cliche struggles. That is a joke. A textbook joke even. That is a joke. I feel awful for this young lady. Although I don't think she really even cares.
My second Christmas just fucking
killed himself. The opening of this first game basically sets everything up. Nicole's at her lowest right now and she literally could not care less. Now she's fresh at a new school, full of new faces, and you are given free reign to dictate her choices. Now, Class of 09 refers to itself as an anti-visual novel, which I've heard people explain as these weird guys hitting on Nicole and their routes are her ruining their lives, as opposed to the traditional routes in normal dating sims where you just kiss. But I'll be honest, I never got that or even noticed that in the games. Maybe you could say that for 09, but re-up and flip side, those kinda hit more like drama of the day plotlines. Oh, I've gotta go to this class, oh this minor thing happened, and then this, and then that, and then it just constantly snowballs and escalates, and before you know it, Ari's house is on fire, and she's fucking dead. Class of 09 actually reminds me of Regular Show when you really think about it, because Regular Show is really well known for how it can start with the most simple plotline and then just boom. I just thought of that one fucking clip. Hey mate, can I borrow your pen? Having batshit insane plotlines doesn't really count for much though if there isn't a strong cast to go along with it. But fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you see it, Class of 09's characters will constantly have you in a mental chokehold. This isn't mentioned in the opening, you find this out for yourself as you play the game, but the new school Nicole is sent to is really bad. All the students and even all the faculty members are just some of the worst people ever conceived. Like, okay, look, the first person Nicole speaks to is Crispin. He's okay, you know, kinda awkward and stupid. You make it clear you aren't interested and he just phases through the hint. If you do entertain him, entertain being just standing there and letting him talk at you, he will actually send you a picture of his willy as thanks. The game makes it a point to state how he has a micro penis too, so yeah. Then you meet Jeffrey. Talks funny, looks funny, really likes anime, has a gigantism fetish, wants to sleep with his mom, justified actual rape once, stalked and took pictures of girls in their underwear, and will actually shoot up the school if you make certain choices. Did you see that? Did you see how we just went from 0 to tonight at 8? Class of 09 is literally just white boondocks. I stole that joke from a comment on a Class of 09 video, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna take credit for that one, that's a good one. We've also got Kyla.
Yo, what's up, it's Kyler. Let's break this gay-ass photo lab. Fuck photography, it's for people who like animals.
Apart from having the IQ level of a pit bull with AIDS, bro is also ableist, misogynistic, racist, homophobic, homosexual. Jekka is a cute teenage girl with a high libido. She said that. Jekka is a cute teenage girl with a high libido. She said that. She said that. She said this. I know she said this. I'm not crazy. I know she said this. There's a point in the game where she says this. She literally says this. She says that. She's actually the deuteragonist, Nicole's best friend, and the protagonist of the latest game. I really like her. She shares a voice actor with Kaching from Genshin Impact, which is funny because she swears a lot. You know, and she's the closest we get to a normal / good person in the game.
Why would I? I'll never be in a situation where my spouse doesn't want to fuck me because I'm a perfect 10 with a high libido.
How many times a day you say you go to therapy?
Smash. Emily. Okay, skip. I'm skipping. This one I'm skipping. Ooh, I'm skipping. Mr. White is an actual white nationalist. Coach Colby is just a pedophile. And he can also be a murderer / necrophiliac if you humor him. Mr. Katz is a crackhead pedophile. Switch up goes crazy. The counselor is just a pedophile. Are you seeing the trend with the teachers and being pedophiles? There are a lot more characters to mention across Class of 09, but the few I went over are not even scratching the surface. Trust me. Most of these characters are terrible people, some arguably worse than Nicole, which is a high bar to clear, just by the way. This child is lost, but basically you won't really feel bad for any of the crazy psych ward shit that happens in the game because everyone involved was most likely asking for it. Playing through these games is genuinely such a fun experience. It actually reached a point where if I was eating, I'd boot up Class of 09 instead of YouTube. That is monumental, bro. Now with all that established, we can now turn our attention to the elephant in the room. This! Over Darkwood, a visual novel over Darkwood, one of the best indie horror games ever made, and you put this over it. Kill yourself, Tremiryyyy. Kill yourself. Okay. Let me explain. On the surface level, Class of 09 is just a bunch of really funny, edgy, and expertly acted scenarios, which are a delight to sit through. But that isn't all there is to it. Remember how I compared the games to a regular show? Well, Class of 09 sets itself apart by basing all its humor and plot points on actual real-world problems. A regular show would have singing tapes, laser dance fights, death quando, all funny but fictional stuff for the most part. While Class of 09 has actual depictions of substance abuse, sexual assault, suicide, child abuse, which are all very real issues. But all these things are shown in a humorous manner and don't mock victims of these things or make poor tasteless jokes that aren't funny. The creator of Class of 09 has even said that some of the events depicted in the game are based off of actual real world events. And that's what bumped these games up so high for me. The dichotomy of Class of 09 being these really funny stories centered around actual horrible problems faced by real high schoolers back then. And even now, This just opens the game up to being interpreted in so many more in-depth ways. Looking at the horrible characters as victims of their toxic environments and paying attention to the little details that cause them to be the way they are can open up so many deep discussions for people. Being able to tackle any of this stuff in a way where you could make people even giggle is already commendable, let alone making people belly laugh. This technique of addressing these depressing subjects in a humorous light related to me personally. Throughout the entirety of 2024, I had been, frankly, just miserable. Coming fresh off the heels of the worst year of my life, this year was not doing me any favors. Things I had hoped for or had been promised hadn't come to fruition. I was starting to see people really close to me differently, worse, and school just felt so draining to attend. My home life was getting worse too. I could barely get out of bed in the morning. I low-key didn't take care of myself at all. My life in general just felt like a slog, slowly getting worse and worse. Weeks felt really long, and the amount of days absent I had in my final year of high school was actually crazy. And the best way I found to deal with all of this was humor. Making jokes about whatever was grieving me at the moment, laughing at any inconveniences that actually made me feel worthless. Laughter was the thing that got me through 2024. Viewing negatives in a humorous light, even when nothing about the situation was funny, that was my game plan. It's even got a name too. In the words of my close friend, if I don't laugh, I will cry. And seeing basically that motto represented in these games by someone who's also completely miserable, that felt special to me. YouTube happens to recommend you a visual novel series that particularly relates to your current predicament, and you haven't been like watching any videos on any visual novels at all. I mean it so genuinely when I say that video recommendation came out of nowhere. This is just Ultra Kill all over again. And that reason also makes me find the Class of 09 series oddly comforting, which is funny coming from the cis-het male in relation to the series where they constantly dog on men. The piano that plays on the main menu is the main contributor to this feeling because it is one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard. And you'll only ever hear this when you start the game up and right after you get an insane ending. And I feel like this works perfectly with all the chaos in the game. Say what you want about the flip side, but reading the text you get from Jeffrey's mom after he dies while this plays in the background is an emotional gut punch. I know I'm rambling a little here. I'm just trying to get my feelings out on this song. It feels like when you play the game and you're laughing at the jokes, you're looking at the game on the micro level. No deeper concepts, no real world implications, just funny people doing funny things. But once you're on the main menu and you start to really think about what the game shows you, thinking about the game on a macro level, this song captures that feeling for me. It feels as sad as it feels beautiful. It reminds me of the same slog I went through, barely getting out of bed and always being late to school. This song sounds like you're watching yourself waste away. Through all the humor and craziness, you're just living to see tomorrow. You aren't chasing anything. You aren't striving for anything. You're just existing and letting things happen. The song feels empty and beautiful. It just feels like a lot. Well, that's just my interpretation of it anyway. These games may not be all that, but they're sticking with me. And that's Class of 09. I was genuine for a few moments. Unlucky. Okay, I realized I kind of became a bit of a Debbie Downer. But hey, you know what this calls for. The special subsection. Let's lighten the mood. Let's lighten the mood. We can't stay in that pit forever. Woo! Special subsection. Tremiryyyy, what the fuck is special subsection? What the fuck? What are you doing? Special subsection is a new mainstay of my channel that I'm adding, where like basically at the end of any of my longer videos, I'll have this special subsection that's dedicated to you guys for watching through all of that and still being here. I like how I'm shilling a concept after I was just genuine in front of you guys for a few seconds, but we move. It wouldn't be Tremery if he wasn't schizophrenic. These were the best games I played in 2024. And yup, it's so much longer. Last year's video was 40 minutes and that had 10 games. This year's video was, I think, past an hour and it had 6. Actually 5 because Fida Puri wasn't even on the list. So yeah, actually diabolical. But I hope the video doesn't like just feel longer and more boring. I hope you felt more engaged and I was like more to chew on. Because I know there's like some of you that watch my videos that you like the longer videos. The video can be like 5 hours and you'll be like, yes, 5 hour Tremery. To you guys, I love you guys more than you could ever imagine, because the concept, the idea of someone looking forward to watching hours of my content is actually heartwarming. Tula thinks heartwarming. I found the games, enjoyed the games, you know, no fighting games on this list. Last year there were 2, unlucky. I had fun, whatever. This video took a while to make. I procrastinated the fuck out of this video, I'll be so real. I started work on this in December. And then I just procrastinated over and over and over and over and over. Which I think is mostly due to... I don't really want to say this because I feel like it jinxes, but special subsection, I'm gonna be for real. The views fluctuating all the time always makes me feel uncertain about making videos, because like in the middle of a video I'll be like, what if I do all this work on this and this just gets 20 views or something like that? And it sucks when that happens. Genuinely, it sucks. But I want to make the video. I had fun making the video still, so I don't know, man. I said a lot. I fucking said a lot. Coming off the heels of that class of 09 section, I'm actually still kind of reeling because I've never been genuine like that to anyone. So the fact that I'm doing it to my dumbass YouTube channel is wild. But I mean, here we are. To any of you that are, I guess, kind of worried about me after hearing all that, don't be. I am fine. I know I use a lot of past tense. I'm still low-key in that same slump, but there's no more school, so that's a positive, you know. We here to go. Don't worry, guys. I'll be all weekday. I'll be all Wednesday. Don't worry. We Gucci. We are Gucci. That was best games I played in 2024. You can expect okay, Fida Puri Samurai retrospective. That's gonna come out because it's been announced in this video. So wait for that. My side as well, I want to try and start on both of those at the same time, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't want to keep you here for any longer than I have because this video is reaching diabolical lengths. I can feel it. So I just want to say thank you for watching. This was a really long video. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And with all that being said, I've been Tremeryyyy, and you've been a pretty great viewer. I wanted to make it sound emotional by saying something nice, and then I said 2 things at once. So now the whole vibe of the video has just been thrown the fuck off. Maybe I should just hang myself.